This video is sponsored by Policy Genius.
Brandon!
That's all she wrote.
This is a mini combine. You stick an ear of corn in there, shucks it off, throws the kernels in there, kicks the ear out. Last spring, we started an all-new study on Corn Star Farms called a planter variability test. So we went to every cornfield we have 10 cornfields, and we planted 10 different types of corn on the 10 different fields. Then we measured an entire planter width, and we measured 17 feet 5 inches on each row. So that represents 1/1000th of an acre. We are going to take 24 buckets, and we are going to pull every ear within those 17 feet 5 inches. We're gonna lay them out on the ground. We're gonna compare how many ears were in each row, the sizes of the ears. Then we're gonna shell them, and then we're gonna weigh all of the grain. And then we're gonna see what each row yielded. We're gonna compare that across our entire planter. Then we're gonna see how tight our planter is. Ideally, I'd like to be at 25 bushels from row to row, top to bottom. But I think we're gonna be at 80. Holy buckets, Batman. Oh yeah, and we're gonna do moisture testing.
Well, Owen and Cooper and me, we're gonna run around the bin setup today and kind of make sure everything's taking grease. First item we opened up, big auger coming out of the pit. They put a grease zerk on the outside, which is fine and dandy. The grease line that goes inside has been broken. So last year when we were greasing that up, here we thought it was probably taking grease, and it probably wasn't. I'm gonna go up above, but the wind's blowing, so I don't know if I can take the camera with you this time. We're trying to get this done before the wind picks up, so we don't blow off of everything up there, or it falls down on us.
We have tar spot?
We got some tar spot. The tar spot gets its name for the black flecks of tar-like speckles on the plant. It's been a prevalent disease here really recently, last 4 or 5 years. This year, luckily, it seems like it came in late enough into the growing season that I don't think we'll quite see the yield impact we maybe have the last few years. But it's definitely kind of a new emerging disease in this area.
This field got 2 fungicide applications on it too, and he's still got, look how bad that is.
Hey, you want to shut those fans down?
I didn't lay a pin down on my phone where I put my flags. I had a flag sitting on the edge of the windmill driveway, but we mowed the edge of the windmill driveway, and I think my flag got ate.
You go that way, I'll go that way.
Found it! 1, 2, 3, 4.
Devastators! These things are heavy. We're gonna be crawling underneath there. We got Maverick over here. Hi, Maverick. He's playing with a little bottle.
My great-grandfather would be disappointed in me right now. There we go. We got buckets on buckets on buckets on buckets on buckets. I probably did 6 rows. You did 18.
I know how to hustle some ears.
This is row 6 where our emergent study was. So we got all of our flags down here on the ground. Now the orange ones represent the ones that came up and then the first day of each other, first 12 hours of each other. And so what we're gonna do, just do a quick visual. So we'll take a look at an orange. So that's an orange. This one was a green. So 3 days later, look at the size difference. That's hardly anything. And we got another orange. We got an orange. If I can find it. So orange seemed to be the biggest ones. Let's find a white. And this is a white. This is a little doinker. And he's right next to an orange, and he's right next to another orange. This one's a white. In some areas where we got to skip, so there should have been a plant right here between. Look at this. We got mammoth ear 1 and we got mammoth ear 2. But let's say this is 125% of the yield. This one's 110%. We add in a 0. We divide that by 3. Now we're less than 100. Versus they all were the same here. They'd have 100% yield potential. We'd actually get a better yield by having that one here. So technically, a double is better than a skip.
Double's better than a skip. But we like kind of what we're seeing with the orange flags. We want even spacing, even emergence.
This one's got 2 planted side by side with each other, and look at the size of these ears. They basically straight up compete with each other, and they both kind of run of the litter themselves out. Yeah.
That's what we don't want.
She fall. There she be, husk piles. We got our corn. This is taking longer than expected. Visually off the bat, it's incredible. Like, look at that one, how full that bucket is, then compared to that one. What do you think the swing's gonna be, row to row? High to low.
I'm guessing, because that one bucket's not even hardly half, there'll be 52 bushels an acre difference.
There's a lot of husking and a lot of laying ears out.
I've never done a test like this before, so it's really incredible to see the variation within the row itself. I mean, we got some small ears, we got some good size ears, and we got these little doinkers every now and again. You just don't ever think about those. You think all the ears are the same size. Just look how much variation goes on among these. This looks to be one of the better rows. Probably our most consistent row. That one's not too bad. But where's it at? This one. They all seem to be the most similar size.
So the center of the tractor's right here. So our tires would be out about here and here. And then on the wings of the planter, we have some more tires over here.
These were all measured at 17 feet 5 inches, so 1/1000th of an acre. So look how many more ears are in some rows. Like this one's got like 4 more ears, 5 more ears than the one beside it. It's got more than that one too. So even though we planted 34,500 population, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what we're gonna get, because they're all starting at the same line on that end, but we obviously didn't get the same amount of ears per row. Now we're gonna take this to yield. We're gonna shell all the kernels off, we're gonna weigh them, and then we're gonna see what each row yielded individually, and then we'll compare that to the average of all the rows together, and then we'll know our better rows and our worst rows.
I'm going to show you who's been working the hardest. Now are they going to be in this way? One thing you guys know, we are grave diggers and stuff. We get to visit with a lot of families and I meet a lot of people at the cemetery. Life insurance is a very hard thing to talk about. But I have talked to so many families after somebody's passed away, they were totally lost. How are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for our home? Things they never thought about until it was too late. And we've actually had this happen with some of our family too. Take a $500,000 combine, $168,000 corn head. I don't want to leave that kind of debt for Mama Cornstar. As important as life insurance is, it's not fun to find, it's not fun to pay for.
When was the last time you got a quote compared?
I just had a company that sent you a list of quotes.
So you just went with one company?
Yeah.
So you could have been leaving money on the table.
Oh yeah.
Because comparing quotes is a pain in the butt, right?
It was a pain in the butt comparing quotes. So yeah, it just basically the first one that popped in and just, that was the one I went with. This is where Policy Genius shines. Policy Genius was built to modernize the life insurance industry.
Their technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from top companies like AIG and Prudential.
And it takes just a few clicks to find your lowest price.
With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start
at $17 a month for a $500,000 policy. And there's no unnecessary medical exams.
Policy Genius has licensed agents who can help find the options that offer coverage as little as a week.
Can you read this for me?
My favorite part is they are not incentivized to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. You couldn't read that?
I just thought it'd be better if you read it. There is no added fees and all your personal information keeps private. Things like this have earned them thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com, call the Cornstar, or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quote and see how much you can save.
Wow. 14.8 pounds. Times 1,000. 14,800 pounds?
I'm not sure that's exactly how that works.
Why wouldn't it be? 1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you go to public school? Okay, 14.8 times 1,000 is 14,800 pounds divided by 56. Really?
Oh, we're not drying it down. That's wet bushels. That's at 20% moisture.
Oh. How much do we got to take off? We got to take off 5% of the weight?
We're at 5.5%.
Okay, so 14,800 times 0.95. Would you like to explain the process of putting on Devastators?
They suck. Started at noon 30. It's probably about 6:30, 6:41. They suck, but they work, so you gotta do it. If you ever put them on, the manual it says, put your bracket up here and then put these springs on. That's the last thing you wanna do. Yeah, it makes it easier putting this bracket up there. Get all this on, put that spring on. Tighten that thing down before you put it up here because it takes everything you got. Tighten that nut down to get this tension because you want the nut to be flush with the bolt. So do that on the ground and then put it up there.
Yeah, it's a long process and sure is fun.
Look at it, I think it should take 2 hours.
Right. Second or third try, we started to get her figured out.
Well, if we didn't tighten all those things down and realize when you close the snoots, the hood, that it hit your springs, we gotta offset them. That'd been,
Yeah, we wouldn't have to move everything and then fight that.
if we would have read the instructions, we would have.
I did not expect this test to take this long. I probably got like 6 hours into this thing. Initially, I started by just shelling all the corn off like so, and that took like an hour to do 4 buckets, and so that's going to take way too long to do all of these. So what I ended up doing, I just grabbed all of the cobs that I took for this particular row, and I threw them back in there, and then I weighed them on the scale. And I seen what the weight difference was compared to just the shelled corn versus the shelled corn with the cobs. And then I did that for all these, and I was kind of able to come up with a number. The cobs account for 11% of the weight of these buckets that are not shelled. So I just ended up weighing all these buckets, multiplying it by 89%. That gave us the actual weight of the kernels. Best row was row 24. That's in this bucket. Worst row was row 23, right next to it. So check this out. Pop the scale on. Pretty handy. I found the scale in the shop today. This is row 23. We're looking at 16.4. Bucket weighs 2.2 pounds. So this is a 14.2 pound bucket. And the heaviest one, row 24. Set that guy on there. 22.2, subtract the bucket, 20 pounds. This column is the row. This is the yield of the row. This is how many ears per row. And then this is all the weight stuff and percentages. So look at that. 251, 268, a lot of 240s, 250s, some 275s. Ooh, got 298. Right on through, 229, 229. There we go, 217, 302. 85 bushel difference. I ended up normalizing the data. So this is the average of the entire planter, 253 bushels. And then I just took the yield of the row, divided it by 253. And that gave me a percentage of the average yield that that specific row made up. So these ones with the brackets on it, that's where the LSW 1400s were running. So, I mean, as we can see, you average these together, not really a yield implication at all. Actually, so these are some of our best performing rows that were underneath of an LSW 1400. Now, this is just one field, one hybrid, one set of soil conditions. That's why we're going to run this whole test over 9 other fields with 9 other hybrids. So we have some vertical tillage in there and we have some no-till in there. So we're going to kind of be able to get a lot bigger picture because these numbers could be completely different for all the other fields. Then we'll be able to take all the fields, punch all these numbers together, run the same set of numbers for it. Then we should be able to see a good set of patterns, if there is any pattern behind the LSWs, or I should do the pinch rows between the wheels and the planter too. I think that'd be very interesting. But so far, the first time I've ever done anything like this, and this is the way I like to think about it. We had one row hit 302. So that means if we did it once, what's stopping us from replicating it in all of these other rows? Because obviously there is something that caused us to have this 302 in this row versus the other ones. There's something causing that variance in the rows. So if we had a 302, that means we would have been at $2,114 an acre, assuming $7 corn, versus our average of $253. So we're leaving $343 per acre on the table. Multiply that by 1,000 acres, $343,000. A lot of money, Dad.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out some stuff.
Look at these stallions just sitting out here in the yard. Whew. That's actually a really cool sight. Class 9 red one, Class 9 green one. Folding 12-row corn head, folding 12-row corn head. On our combine, in order to protect the tracks and also protect the LSW 1400s on the 340, we run these Devastators. So these are from Yetter. They spin underneath, and what they do, the corn stalk comes right underneath the row, and then these just roll right over it, and then they crimp it in little pieces and help break it up. So not only does it help accelerate the breakdown of the stalks, because it gets them down on the ground and it breaks them up, so that way organisms can get into them, break them down quicker, get the nutrients back into the soil for the plants to use faster next year. But it also doubles as it protects all our tires and tracks. We will never not own another corn head that does not have Devastators on them. They are awesome. My friend who we call YouTube Ron from Hartung Family Farms, he works for Mother Deere, and he came out today and he helped me. Oh, I'm shutting this door, it's warm in here. But he helped me get some settings up on this monitor for machine functions. I had all these run screens before that I liked how this one had this here and how it had that little screen, and I liked how this one said what percentage I was full, and I didn't like that one. And I like this one because it looked kind of cool, but you could see like your bushels an hour or bushels per acre average and stuff. I'm like, I want all this stuff on one screen. How do you do that? So he helped me go into all this stuff and kind of learn to navigate it a little bit. He's an expert. Oh, I did this wrong. Check this out. He said if you press the button right on the back of this and you pull it, look at this. Boom. Why is it not working now? Okay, we'll figure that out. But I'm supposed to be able to press that button to exit out of stuff. Maybe do I gotta unlock it? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Boom. Boom. Moving through screens. So now we got this kind of set up to our liking. Highly customizable. I like that. I believe we're gonna try to start corn tomorrow. Dad went to a few different fields. These piles represent different fields. And then we brought 2 moisture testers down here to make sure that they're both working with each other. I think this is our driest one. This is out of Melvin's. We're kind of testing that 15 and 3/4. We're actually gonna bring this to the co-op to their perfectly calibrated moisture tester tomorrow. So then we're going to be able to see what that is. We're also going to see why Nona's is while we're over there, because it's close to the co-op. We think those are our 2 driest farms. So that's honestly probably where we start. At this moisture, it's dry enough where we would not have to run this through the dryer. You can just tell by the way it feels. It's hard to describe, but it flows through the hand. It's very dry. We got a couple other fields around that 18%, some in the 20. The stuff we have in our program acres is 21 to 23%, significantly greener. It just showed we had a lot healthier plant there. It's living a lot longer. But nonetheless, on the bottom of those 120,000 bushel bends, we would like to have drier corn. So that way, if we were to have a problem, it would be higher up. It would be able to get sucked out faster versus the floor, which is the last thing. So you always want the dry corn on the bottom. Brandon and I handpicked almost 7 bushels of corn today. That's what 7 bushels looks like, right there. 7 bushel. That's all I got for today. We're gonna be combining corn tomorrow, so we'll see you tomorrow.